Ready? You're supposed to say action.
Oh, action.
Hey guys, welcome to On 3. I'm out today on a paddleboard adventure to see what is the absolute minimum kit that I need in my bag to take out with me on the lake if I should go for a paddleboard excursion. You can speculate all you want about what a guy might need or might not need, but until you've actually tested it out in real life scenarios, you don't know for sure. And the stuff behind me is what I've brought. It all fits in this small little fanny pack here. And it's just the bare essentials, I think, that's going to keep me relatively comfortable this evening. It's supposed to get down to around 30 degrees, which is pretty chilly. I'm wearing a wetsuit, which I always do in the wintertime when I'm out on the water because I don't often fall in when I'm paddleboarding, but if I do fall in, it really, really sucks. And if you fall in with normal clothes on, just whatever your everyday clothes on, like you'd wear if you're maybe canoeing or something, you'd get soaked and then you'd have to go to shore and you'd have to dry out and everything, and it'd be kind of a pain in the neck, if not just a dangerous situation. So I wear a wetsuit, and that's pretty much all the clothing I have. The scenario is essentially that I've gone out for the day paddleboarding, and for some reason, whatever reason there is, I can't make it back and I've got to spend the night out. And this is the minimum kit that I've brought. So like I said, everything fits in this small little fanny pack. I have a small lightweight pair of gloves, some duct tape that could be used for all sorts of things, but the primary reason that I brought this is if I was to ding up my paddleboard, I could repair it. I've got a headlamp for one, navigating on the board at night if I should need to, or just seeing around camp for whatever reasons, keep people from hitting me with their boats. A life straw so I can drink straight out of the lake. So a few rations, just some bars, jerky, and a coffee. A metal cup with a lid, which has kind of the meat and potatoes of my kit, my survival kit. We'll go over that in a second. I've got a down puffy jacket that I can wear over top of my wetsuit. A life jacket because I have to carry one legally, I believe. At least I think I do. And this could also work really good as a nice pillow for me this evening. And then a dry bag to put my puffy jacket in case I was to go in the drink. It would keep it nice and dry. Now in this tin here, this is, like I said, the meat and potatoes. This is where all the good stuff is. The absolute essentials. If I was going to go out with nothing else, I would take this, and it should be able to suffice at least so I don't die, which is, you know, a good thing. I've got something to cover myself up with. This is an SOL Escape Bivvy. It's basically a Mylar coated trash bag. And the good thing about these is that they are completely waterproof, and the Mylar reflects a lot of your body heat and traps a lot of it inside the bag. The bad thing about these is they're 100% waterproof, and all of the condensation, moisture from your body coming off of you stays inside of this bag. And if you've ever slept in one of these, which I have, you wake up and you are just damp from head to toe. You're not soaking wet, you're not dripping or anything like that, but you're just damp. And if it's cold outside, you've got to eventually get out of this bag. No matter how warm it might be, you've got to get out. And if you're damp everywhere, that's not enjoyable and could potentially be a dangerous situation. But I'm sleeping in a wetsuit, so if I wake up a little bit wet, it's probably not that big a deal. This is a Leatherman Wave Plus, and it's got all the essentials on there. Obviously pliers and a knife, a couple blades actually. The serrated one, which I almost never use, but it's there to cut cordage and things like that really well. Files, a small saw, set up camp and things like that. But really just, you know, the most important thing is that cutting tool and probably the pliers. And also a screwdriver's on there if I need to take the fin on and off of my paddleboard. The screwdriver works good for that. I've got a couple different ways to start a fire in here. I've got my ferro rod, nice big 1/2 inch one, about 6 inches long, and a lighter. This would be my primary go-to, but if this should fail for whatever reason, this almost always gets the job done. Might take a little bit longer to process some tinder, but it always works no matter what. This could eventually run out of fuel. The flint could wear out. Who knows? Got different cordages. Mostly this line here, this bank line, the Mariner's line, because it's small and I can put a lot of it in there. And then I've just got probably This might be 15 feet or so of paracord. And that's pretty much it. I can boil water in this to keep it, get it clean for me so it's safe to drink. Out of the lake, it's still kind of a little bit of a risk because there is a potential for like chemical runoff, fertilizers and things like that. So that's why I brought the life straw. Otherwise I would just forego this. But luckily where we've chosen to camp is right next to a small little stream, which we're so fortunate in this area. Those small little streams like that are everywhere and easy to find. So right now I'm setting up camp. My buddies and I have collected a whole bunch of firewood. They've got their hammocks set up. They're sleeping a lot more comfortably than I am this evening. And I found this chair in the cove that we pulled into. It was underwater and I saw it, and it's broken just a little bit, but overall still functional. And I'm probably, not for sure, but I may just end up spending the night in that chair. So it might be more comfortable than sleeping on the ground here next to the fire. I might just sit up in that chair all night. We'll see, or maybe switch between the two. I don't know yet. But that's my very minimalistic kit that I have on my paddleboard. Easy to carry while you're paddling. You don't even know you're wearing it. Weighs maybe, I don't know, all of that together, 5 pounds probably. And I think it's going to be enough to keep me somewhat comfortable in the 30-degree weather that we're going to have tonight. So I'm collecting a bunch of leaves in my bivvy bag, piling it up here for some insulation up off the ground. Now I understand that it's a risk sleeping next to a fire on a big bunch of leaves. However, it's a risk I'm willing to take because that ground is going to be friggin' frigid this evening. That's why that chair might come in handy. but if I can get myself insulated from the ground just a little bit by those leaves, it'll be worth it. And they're going to be compressed from me laying on it, so the chances of them just bursting into flames, I think, is very minimal. And in my opinion, definitely worth the risk. So last night went pretty good. I was cold, but not miserably cold, never shivering. Had to keep the fire going for the most part, but I woke up several times with the fire pretty much out, so that means I slept okay. The worst part was having to get up and pee and peel the wetsuit off in the 30-something degree weather. That was pretty terrible. But other than that, pretty good evening. I did not die, and now I'm making coffee, and life is pretty good.